Awesome. We're going to start with our warm-up today. We're going to do a banded pelvic tilt. So Mary's going to grab the band and we're going to place it on her thighs right above her knees. Awesome. Good. Then she's going to bring her heels towards her glutes, okay? And one way you can kind of see if you are in alignment is just touch your fingertips towards your toes. Okay, you want to line up your toes, so she's going to straighten out her feet a little bit. Go ahead and bring this foot a little bit forward. There we go. And with this movement, all we're going to be focusing in is when we are doing the pelvic tilt, you're going to be pressing into the band, okay? So you're just going to be taking that space between that low back and the floor out of the picture as you do your pelvic tilt, and then you're going to release. So we're going to do one set of 15 reps. Okay. As you're doing this, you want to breathe. You want to exhale as you press that pelvis into the floor and release. Okay. One other way to make sure you're doing this movement correctly is to place your hands right above the pelvic bone. And as you're pressing, you should feel your muscle, that abdomen muscle, contract. And you'll know you're doing this exercise properly. You just nicely control the movements. And we're doing 15 reps. Making sure you're breathing. And pressing your legs into the band as you do the movement. 15. All right, from the pelvic tilt position, we're going to do a bridge. So all you're going to do is drive your hips up toward the ceiling. Good. And back down. As you're doing that, the same thing, like the first exercise, you're going to be pressing your legs into the band as you come up, and you're driving through the heels. You want to make sure your feet are lined up. So we're going to adjust Mary's feet a little bit, push this one back just a tad. There you go. And up. And with this exercise, also 15 repetitions, you want to make sure that you kind of reset. You don't want to have that space between the floor and your low back. You want to keep that neutral hip. Inhaling down, exhaling up. And if you want a little bit more advanced, you can go ahead and do a 5-second hold at the top and then release down, okay, for those repetitions to really engage those glutes. For the third warm-up exercise, I'm going to have Mary turn over to all fours, and we're going to go into a fire hydrant. So this is tabletop. With this position, you want to make sure your shoulders, elbow, and wrist are all lined up, and fingers are out wide, getting a good base. Then you want to make sure your knees are directly underneath your hips, and you're going to tuck your toes underneath, bringing those toes towards your shins. Good. And you want to make sure you're nice and flat. I don't want no low back arch. Give me an arch. Okay, so we don't want that. We want to make sure you're pulling in, nice and stable, everything's neutral. And the band is around the knees, on the thigh. We're going to start with the left leg, and we're going to do 15 repetitions. Good. And here you really want to make sure that your hips stay stable to the floor. Okay, hip bones are going towards the mat, and again, shoulders are also stable. Neck is in line with the spine. A lot of people have a tendency to allow not only the glute to work, but then they kind of cheat because they don't have the strength, and they'll use that whole body. So you'll see that shoulder, core kind of open up. So we're going to switch sides here, go to the other side. Mary's doing a really, really great job of making sure that hip stays neutral. really working that glute med. Okay. Again, inhaling as you come down, exhaling as you come up. Good job. The next exercise will be the donkey kicks, the same position as the fire hydrant, but this time we're going to have Mary bring her left foot up towards the ceiling. Her foot's going to be flexed, as well as the foot on the floor. And she's just going to bring that knee back to start position and press up for the donkey kick. Again, what's very important to remember is to keep the hips neutral, not allowing that low back to arch, and you want to keep your neck in line. And you exhale as you extend that leg back and inhale down. 15 repetitions on each side. And then we'll switch sides. You kind of want to readjust, make sure everything is neutral, and begin. Again, you can do this exercise with or without the band. Good job. The last exercise for your warm-up will be the dead bug. So Mary's going to lie down on her back, and she's going to come into a tabletop position. So bring her knees to 90 and her arms to 90. Okay? And this exercise, you want to make sure that you're imprinting the spine, okay, neutral hips. And you're going to extend your opposite arm, opposite leg. Very similar to a running movement. And again, we're doing 15 repetitions here. As she extends, she's going to inhale and coming together, exhale. Okay, so inhale, lengthen, exhale, back to the starting position. You can always kind of think of where your hips are, trying not to let any space between that low back and floor. I always like to imagine my body lengthening as I extend out. If at any time during this exercise you can modify it by just not doing the legs or not doing the arms.